other extra activities that they are not, it's not for a grade, but they can use as a part of, if they want to do it. And let me tell you, let me take a look here. I have it here in workbook. Just going to, and that's more or less for each chapter. In each chapter we have the same way preview. In this there are, but the workbook in this one was question 6 and 7, but each question has a bunch of little questions, so that will be difficult to tell you exactly. For example, question number 3, it could have 5 questions inside, you know?
Okay, understood.
So they are really, to give you a number is difficult. Let me take let me check just preview the chapter 4.
It become a math problem.
Look, yeah. This one has question 1 or 2, 32, for example.
Okay. No, that's great. Those are some good examples for us to just get a sense of the scope. And then how are your students evaluated for your course? If you think about your syllabus, do you have buckets that add up to 100%?
Yes, I up to 100%. I give for the activities more or less 40% for the activities. 40%. And
those are the activities they complete online?
Yeah, or
okay.
30%, and the chapter exams are the 40. 40
okay.
for the exam. They do it online too, and I take it for McGraw. Connect and all the other activities 30%. The oral exam 10%. That's the one I have to create it and do it in Canvas. And participation. That's another feature that I use participation discussion boards. And that's something that I have to do by myself in Canvas. The participation, because there is no discussion board there. And the final, excuse me?
The participation is weighted how much?
10%.
10%?
And final exam, 10%.
Is the discussion board used in your face-to-face classroom as well?
No, I changed the participation online. I use discussion board for that.
Okay.
I give them like 5 points to talk about and answer to the students and everything. It will be great if you can put it in the Tumundo.
Okay.
But in the face-to-face, I just do quizzes, and the average of those quizzes at the end of the semester are the 10%.
So if we think about a typical day in your face-to-face classroom, what does that look like? How do you start the class? What are some of the things that you attempt to teach or to practice? Okay.
My typical day will be at the beginning of the class. I usually call roll. I'm very strict with the attendance to the class, and because the students really, so many of them are sometimes absent. Well, I don't have that big problem because I start the class doing a little quiz about what we studied the day before. So that helped me a lot with the attendance, which is the biggest problem. So after I do the quiz, I start planning with them because I gave them the syllabus at the beginning of the semester. So they tell me what are we going to do that day. So
they tell you?
Yeah, not me. And so I put that planning on the board. And then I start always doing a kind of conversation with a little bit of they know. For example, the first day we just study the names, or where are you from, and who is he, or whatever. So the next day, my conversation with all of them is about that. So I always start the class with a conversation, and each time I will add and repeat the new things and add repeat the old concept that we have and add the new ones. So we always do that at the beginning of the class, and the students love that and it helps them a lot to keep the vocabulary, because it's very difficult for them to remember that, the vocabulary. Sure. And then I enter to present the class. One idea is to give the students to study the grammar in advance, but I don't know, maybe it's my fault, but they usually don't do it. Yeah. So
you're not the first professor I've heard say that.
I know. So everybody talks about, how wonderful it is to make them do it. Well, they usually don't do it, and usually there will be 2 or 3 that are good that they will do it, but the medium type and the majority, they will not. So I had to cure myself and prevent problems, and so I spent a little bit of time talking about the grammar, a little bit. I talk about the grammar, even though today also there are some, they are totally divided. Some people are agreeing that the grammar, no more grammar and just conversation. But I mean, in order to be able to produce something, you need a basic grammar. So I give a little bit of grammar that the students have to know, and then I spend most of the time in oral communication. Now, there is part of written parts, yeah. There are sometimes I ask for the exercises in the written form, a sentence, make a sentence about this. I show a picture, and they make a sentence about the picture, using the concept that we study. But most of it is oral. So they do it oral and some part written. And then for the writing and the reading part, that's when I use the good exercises that McGraw has, that I love it. Believe it or not, that's what I haven't changed the book, because the McGraw has a bunch of exercises that are very good in communication. They are exercises to do between both 2 people, so to complete, and they have to understand what one asking because the other one has the information. They have exercises to go around all the classroom and ask. So those are in the last 10 minutes of the class. That's what I do.
Okay. And when you're practicing oral production, are you still engaging the full class, or have you had them break out into groups or pairs?
I engage the whole class at the beginning, the oral production, because yes. I want to be sure that everybody produces, and then they can do it together. It depends on the activity. For example, to do a picture and you describe it to your fellow, to the other student, and the other student try to do the same picture as you describe it, something like that.
Okay. Now walk me through, what would a typical class session look like for your online?
Well, for my online, the first thing that I do is look at them 3 times during the day, usually. And they are just doing the exercises. I have to send them every week the information of what do they have for that week. I send also, since the beginning in the syllabus, I tell them which pages they have to read, because it's the only way. Because the problem is that they start doing the exercises thinking that they can do it, and they go directly to the exercises and they